What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike. We're taking another look at Saitama. We need to talk about this. What's going on? Where do we go from here? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Remember, we're giving away $500, so make sure you are subscribed with a chance to win that. So look, after the debacle, failed launch, whatever you want to call it, of Saita Realty, we did get a tweet from Saitama Guru saying, love to see the hashtag Wolfpack picking each other up in spaces and on socials. You all keep each other motivated while we continue to put in work on the back end. There's not 6 developers, there's 330,000 diehard holders depending and building one another up. This is why we work. It hasn't been met with the greatest of response, I would say, compared to what we normally get out of a Saitama or a Saitama Guru kind of post. We just aren't seeing the same. And I think it kind of is a shift in how people feel about Saitama right now. And I think if you think about everything they've launched, it hasn't worked, it's not been right. And I think even now, there is a lot of people talking about the SAITAMASK app not being fully functional, not being able to use it, funds being stuck, tokens not being able to swap, some tokens not even being on there. There's just a lot of noise around Saitama. So when we take a look at the price, is it a surprise that it's down at the 1298 range? Down 4.75%. It has come back a little bit. You can see some of these buys coming in. But here is kind of a pattern we're going to see with Saitama for a very long time, I believe, my opinion only, because I think people are going to take an opportunity to sell. If I use my own experience, I've been dollar cost averaging to get my initial buy down. Therefore, it's a smaller gap to the point in which I could maybe take some profits out of this project. But like I said, for me, it's a long-term hold because I do think there is mileage in it, but we have an issue we need to overcome, and that is why we keep failing on everyone. We've got Max, who is developing the app, and we just don't get anything for him. And I think more than ever, they need to be transparent in what's going on. They need to talk about the project, and we as investors and everyone that's involved in Saitama just needs to understand what is working and what isn't working. Because I think sometimes if you try and rush some things, which it does feel like they are rushing it, you can end up hurting the community, you end up hurting your investors, and ultimately, you almost lure yourself into a false sense of understanding that everything's working. There are a lot of projects right now that are going to be chomping at the heels of Saitama, ready to bring it out. We've got the Dogeverse, which they are starting to work through and are getting closer and closer to launch that. We have the Terrarium project that is looking to be a centralized exchange. So lots of up and coming tokens have launched after SAITAMASK, which almost are going to be at the same point if they are not careful. So it's really important that they do kind of start to get this thing together. We look at some of the volume, $6.5 million in volume, but it looks like it's a lot of selling. 342,000 orders on DEX, $682 million market cap, as low as I've seen it for a very long time. Just to kind of prove my point, here's a really good example of what I mean. So you can see this kind of all these buys coming up. It's probably going to get to about 2.5, 3 ETH, and then someone sells nearly 6 ETH. And that's going to happen for a very long time until we get these things sorted out. You can see this on the day chart. It's a long way to go. Pretty much anyone who bought in this range, you can see, you know, we're back at the price from October time, which is kind of super early on. People are absolutely still supporting Saitama. And, you know, look, people are, you know, in my view, if you're invested in it, you kind of have to. You almost have to be in that place. But what I do want to bring up is the fact that people are talking about how cheap the gas fees are on SAITAMASK. SAITAMASK still operates through the ERC20 blockchain. It just does. Once the SAITA chain is developed, then I'm sure we're going to see some unbelievably cheap transactions. But right now, Ethereum transactions, $29.71 on gas fees. So I do think it's important that when you're seeing people talking about swaps on SAITAMASK, it's still running through the ERC20 blockchain. Okay, so it's still going to be running these gas fees. So yes, they can do it a little bit cheaper than Uniswap. Yes, they've fixed the front running bots, therefore people aren't losing additional ETH through this. But don't be fooled in the sense that it's something it isn't right now, because it's still running through the ERC20 blockchain. Now, the last thing I want to talk about on this video is the Saitama Guru tweet about what's coming up. So we got this. Hope you're well. Our action plan is as follows. Swap is currently open and operable. Monitor and run diagnostics through these next few days. Create additional pairings. So what that looks like, whether you can start to swap something like Impact XP to Shirio, redeploy the Saita Realty, let Elon Mansa hit you all up with his marketing, then Dubai. I do think Dubai could be an opportunity to really refocus, rebrand, and absolutely start to do something with Saitama. Equally, it's going to be, what we don't want is like another weird boxing UFC kind of pictures of Russ and the team there. I want to see Russ with some of the team from Binance. Well, now we know that Russ has kind of tweeted out and said, you know, look, come and see us over on the Saitama stand. So look, hopefully we'll get some news on the back of Dubai. But I do think for a lot of projects right now, Dubai is going to be huge. And I think done the right way could be a real catalyst. There's a lot of money in Dubai. Russ has talked about this in the past. It's time to put your money where your mouth is. Is it all for sure, or is there absolutely something that sits within it? And I do think it's crunch time for Dubai. I think if it's not, there are other projects that are ready to step into the mantle and take over. And I think you can see people in the space are starting to move over. People are getting rid of the Saitama name on their Twitter handles or their YouTube channels and starting to go to either crypto or go back to just their normal names. So there's definitely a shift right now in belief for Saitama, certainly in the short term. Whether that transpires into the long term, who knows? But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll check you in the next video.